Hey there YouTube fans, Ace Productions here, and you're wondering why am I looking at the back of this bike. Now this is a 2016 Kawasaki ZX14R. And then today we're going to be showing you on how to install an Undertail. I was actually looking on the internet and YouTube to see if I could find any videos on how to install this Undertail, and there is none. There is no video out there that shows me on how to install this Undertail for this bike. So I figure I make my own like I normally do and show you guys on how to install this Undertail. Alright, so first things first, we're going to need to do is we're going to go ahead and clean this Undertail, as I believe that the new Undertail actually goes over this one. So we'll go ahead and clean this up because I definitely don't want any dirt or grime to be underneath the new Undertail as we install it. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now that our Undertail is nice and clean, push these little push pins in. There's one here on this side, and then there is another one here on this side. So let's go ahead and do that. Now do note that as I go over here, that this fairing or this Undertail comes with some Velcro that I supposedly you probably have cut or whatnot, but if you stick this onto the Undertail, it actually pushes the Undertail further out than it needs to be, and you kind of want this as flush as possible, so this is pretty much useless. Also, it comes in with these brackets, and then also these push pins, but yet these push pins are a lot smaller. If you take a look at it from the original ones that came with the bike, these are a lot longer. The ones that come with it are a lot smaller. I don't know how they expect you to put something a lot more smaller than what the original ones came with, especially when putting this Undertail and an additional plastic. So we're not going to be using the ones that came with this kit. We're going to use the original ones that came with the bike. Alright, and then next you're going to notice that it comes with this little tiny light. I will go ahead to wire this light. I doubt that it'll give that much light if you're going to be installing an aftermarket fender eliminator for your license plate. So I'm going to go ahead and let's get started on installing this onto the bike. First things first, as you see, it comes with this very small LED and not that much wire. So I'm going to go ahead and extend these wires to at least another 2 feet. That way it'll give me some wiggle room to actually feed it through the bottom of the bike and get to a light source. Pretty much the tail lights is where I'm going to wire this light. So when you turn on the tail lights, the little light turns on, turn off the tail light, so on and so forth. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's put some extension wire to this wire of the LED. Okay, so this is where we're at now. I already got my cables. I already spliced the cables, and I already had connected them to the one that came with this Undertail. So right now I'm in the process of waiting for my solder iron to heat up. Once it heats up, I'm going to go ahead and solder these two, then put the heat shrink tubing over it, and then shrink the tube. If you don't have heat shrink tubing, you could go ahead and use electrical tape. And as you can see, I already have plenty of cable to feed through the bike, so we could get to a part of the bike that we could actually connect to it. Okay, at this moment you want to go ahead and get your key, open up your trunk, which actually opens up the trunk and the seat all in one shot, and now we're going to grab our cables that we made the extension for, and we're just going to feed it through one of the holes that already existed. So it's going to go ahead and feed it through. Okay, now that I got the cable fed through right there, as you can see, now next we're going to do is we're going to be using what I like to use is going to be called Shoe Goo Black version. Now the reason for this is it's going to replace this Velcro piece. As you can see how thick this part is, even though this part is thick, but once you put the other piece on there, this is how thick it is. That's pretty thick, and that's how much it's going to stick out if we actually use this. We definitely don't want that. So what we're going to be using is going to be this Shoe Goo epoxy, and where we are going to put it is going to be towards the bottom end over here on the Undertail. So we're going to go ahead and put some on this side and also on the other side. So on both of these sides, you want to make sure that you put enough so when we stick it on here, it's going to adhere to this area over here. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, and then you guys do the same. So let me just move the camera a little bit so you guys can see the locations of where I'm going to put the Shoe Goo. So right over here on this side, and right over here on this side. Make sure you put it enough. So you can see there's my Shoe Goo there, Shoe Goo there. It should be good enough for that bottom part. So now that we got that part of the fender taken care of, or the bottom of the Undertail, we're going to actually lift up on these areas right here. So as we slide the Undertail in, we're going to fit it into this pocket area. At the same time, you want to make sure you're pulling your cable already slid into place, as you can see. Now I go ahead and do that to the other side as well. Okay, now that as you can see, I got both ends in. So I got that side in, this side in. So next we're going to do is just going to grab these little push pins, and since we have to push it in to pop it out, now we're going to push it up so where this part's out, and then we're going to go ahead and stick this thing back into the hole over here. Do that for both sides. Okay, so that pretty much does it for the bottom part. As you can see, the clip is already inside that one. It's already inside this one. I already cleaned it up so it looks nice. And then for the bottom part over there where the shoe glue is on this side and this side I had to put a piece of tape to actually hold it in place. Once the shoe glue dries, you go ahead and remove the tape. You may have encountered the same thing. But on that side I didn't have to put any tape, so that side it was okay and good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wire up this little tiny light bulb that's, I guess, meant for a license plate. So let's go ahead and wire it up. If you choose not to wire this guy up, then you're pretty much already done with the installation. Alright, so now we're looking at the compartment of the back end area. Here is our cable that we made the extension from, or the extended part. Now to connect that little light, we're going to go ahead and use the existing license plate light cable, or the cable that goes for the license plate on the original OEM style. So to look for that cable, it's fairly simple. It's actually right here. Here it is. So all I have to do is we're just going to go ahead and tap into this cabling. So we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to make the wires a little bit neater. I'll probably go underneath this area and then just go ahead and tap in here. Red obviously is positive, black with the yellow is going to be negative. So go ahead and tap into there, and that's going to give us power to our light. So when we turn the key on the bike, it supplies power here, which will give us light to that little tiny light bulb at the bottom. When you turn off the bike and you take out the key, it's going to turn off the power there as well. So it's fairly easy. Since I'm not too sure if the customer is going to want that light connected or not, I just decided to connect it anyway. In case he did want it, he would have something there. But it was fairly simple. If you're don't want to do any soldering, so there we go. So that's what I did. I just kind of went through the back end and then just put my cabling through there. So next I'm just going to go put a little zip tie there to secure the wires so they don't pop out. Okay, so that pretty much concludes on actually how to install that little light. Alright, so let me go ahead and turn on the bike so you guys can see that little light turn on. Alright, so there's the light, and then as you can see it just shines a little patch right here. I'm guessing if the license plate was going to be right here, that would actually do a pretty decent job. Alright guys, so that pretty much concludes on how to install the Undertail for this Kawasaki ZX14R. If you guys found this video helpful, please hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you'd like to see other installs on other particular bikes, leave a comment below. If I come across it, I will definitely do a video for it. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, that way you guys are up to date with my latest video, and thank you for watching.